This is a Victrola 9A, and I'm really showing this for two reasons. It's a nice machine. They work quite well, but I'm showing it because of this cabinet, which is not an original cabinet to this machine because Victor didn't make this cabinet. It was an aftermarket cabinet, and it's kind of unique. So when I bring the camera in, I'm going to show you the details of this cabinet and why I think it's so good. But this machine came out in 1911. It was a tabletop machine. This is the one in mahogany. It also came out in golden oak and I think something called English brown. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm guessing it's just like a dark brown. This one is the 9 or 1XA version because it came out in 1917 when there were some changes made to it. It had a new double spring instead of a single spring. It had a speed indicator on it, and it has sort of like a semi-automatic brake, which I find they're a little bit frustrating. And it's probably because I don't know how to use them very well and because I don't play this machine very often. I'm not quite versed on how they work properly, but it's still kind of neat. And then in 1918, they dropped the designation A and just called it the Victor 9. And this was produced, as I said, it came out in 1911. This was produced until 1924. So let me take a look at the machine with you. We're going to hear a record on it, and I'll also show you the card. So these came in nice cabinets. If you like mahogany, this is really nice mahogany. We'll start there with the ID plate. Look at that serial number. I wonder if they started production with the 4, and so this is number 85, but you never know. And then over here, there's an ID tag, Berliner Gramophone, Canada. Berliner was, well, the guy who invented the gramophone, but then when he gave up his patents or sold them to Eldridge Johnson, who founded Victor, he moved to Canada and started producing machines and then became an importer into Canada of Victor products. And there's the Victrola decal. It's always a pretty one. Let's take a look at the speed control over here. And then there's a tapered tone arm, a patent Victor enforced quite heavily. And then it's got something here which I thought was really cool. Put the reproducer like that and you move it over, you can slip that pin into there and it holds this in place. Pretty cool. And I think that was added later. I don't know for sure. And then you got to press that down to allow it to come out again. So why would you need something to hold it into place? Well, that's because of this cabinet. You can see it's a nice cabinet. The molding, I mean, it was designed exactly for this machine. The molding on the top holds the cabinet in place. And look at that, wheels. This is called a T-cart. So you could store your records in this and it allowed you to move the machine around if you wanted to move it to different places in the room. It wasn't made by Victor, but these were sold separately by other companies. Now I've had people tell me, oh, this is a Victor schoolhouse. Victor did make a schoolhouse machine, but it's not this one. It's quite a bit different. And Columbia made one, a schoolhouse Columbia, Graphenola, that had a T-cart like this. So that's why people, I think, seem to think this is a schoolhouse, but it's not. Nice machine. Let's give it a try. Let's see what we're listening to. My Love Parade on a perfect record. Let's see how perfect it is. Well, first I gotta push that down. So I get my reproducer out of there. And then we start it. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to start in the middle of the record because it's struggling a little bit. looks like the motor was struggling a little bit, but I understand that because this has been sitting here for probably 20 years and hasn't been used. But it's a nice machine, and once it's got a little bit of lubrication on it, it'll work fine. But I love this cart, and having these wheels on it and the ability to move it around is kind of neat. You don't see that kind of thing very often.